Hi guys, we're going to tie a salmon tube here. This time it's a pot-bellied pig and the brown one. So I have here, I suppose this is a 1 inch bottle. This is a brass bottle. And I'm going to put on my tying thread. Take it down. Well, you can take it right down to the back of this, but I find that brass tubes, sometimes it can get a little bit slippy and you don't want it sort of heading off the back of it. So being a brown one, we're going to use a bit of brown bucktail. What I'm going to use here is the back bit of a white one, so it's a natural brown. Take a bunch of that off. Trim it up. Set that in there. I'm going to keep this on top of the tube. So I have it in here maybe the same length as the tube, maybe a little bit longer. So next we're going to put in a little bit of flash. So you could use all manner of different things here. I'm going to use a little bit of crystal hair because it's quite stiff in itself, and we're looking at sort of a stiff tail. Couple of strands of that in. Come out a little bit for you there because the tail is going to get a bit longer. So next, boar, and I'm going to use a natural boar here. Trim off maybe 5 or 6 hairs of that. So the boar has this curve to it. It's quite stiff, and the end of them is split, like split hairs I suppose, and that creates a little bit kick. Take that bunch of those, I'm going to set them up on top. I suppose they're slightly longer than the hair that went underneath. As you can see, they've got this pronounced kick to it. And I'm going to tie in, just hold it in place, and then I'm going to super glue a bit of my thread and wind back onto that, because things that don't compress, that are quite stiff, fibres like that there can pull out, so it's just for a bit of added security there. Okay, next we're going to put on a hackle at the rear, so I'm going to use a natural red game hackle here, and I'm using the back end of a cape where we're going to find the sort of longer fibred feathers. We'll strip off a bit at the base there, turn our feather over and double it. As I said before, doubling is covered in some of my technique videos. I'll try and get a link up here for you. So once I've doubled that, I nip out the tip, take the very tip of the feather, what's left of the stalk, and tie it in by maybe a mil or so at the end of it, fold it over, and then take my tying thread back to here and then run it forward a little bit. So then we will wind on that hackle. And use a strongish hackle here if you can, because you need a bit of tension on to stop it going back. You could put a butt, I suppose, on to try and stop it sliding. So we tie that in and tie it off. Just going to create a smooth sort of silk, thin silk body. Now what I'm going to do here is just tie across that very last wrap, and that'll give me a little bit more kick on my fibres, but also I think a bit more security on that tie-in. So Next we're going to tie in our rib, and for this one I'm going to use a gold oval. So you could use quite a wide one if you felt like it. Go for 2 or 3 turns. Here I'm going to use sort of a medium oval gold. Tie that in and tie it back to meet this hackle, and then we're going to dub on a body. Now what I've done here is I took a brown wool and I actually mixed it with like a brown sort of glister, or I suppose you could use something like hens. So as you can see, I sort of grab the bunch, pull it back and forward, and it'll mix it together. So you get the predominant brown colour, but with a little bit of an accent of a flash built into it. And I'll tease that out along my tying thread and start to twist it. One wrap will catch a few fibres at the end, and then twist and twist until I have this long sort of cigar dubbing loop. Try and get a little bit thicker at the back here. Stretch it out. And then a little bit more. Stretch it out. So we'll end up with a little bit of a taper here. So we're going to wrap our tinsel. Now you can wrap your tinsel either direction. You wrap it in the same direction as you wrapped your dub body, it'll sink into it a little bit. If you wrap it in the opposite direction from it, it should stand out a little bit more. Up to yourself. If you have the body dubbed quite tightly, there'll not be that much of a difference to it. Now, I'm going to put a brown hackle on the front. So here I'm choosing a slightly darker brown just for the sake of there being a little bit more contrast between the front and the back. And I'm also choosing one that's a bit shorter in the fibre and maybe a little bit stiffer. So same thing again, double it over. Break off the tip, tie it in, fold it back, and then we'll wrap that. And as you can see, I sort of get my fingers in the road when I wrap hackles on here because I'm folding the fibres into the direction I want them to lie. Once I have that tied on, I'll fold the stalk back, and again I'm slightly tying over that. You can avoid that if you want. So that's the sort of general shape of our pot-bellied pig done. So I'm going now to take a couple of small jungle cock. Now you can put these on quite long if you feel like it, or what I'm going to do here is I'm going to tie them in short and use the enamelled portions here, just a little white bit, to stop it from twisting, hopefully. Easier said than done. So I've got the two of them set on, and I'll just tie one on either side across that little enamelled portion, you can see. Then I'll fold that back, fold that one back as well. You can break them off at this stage or snip them off. And now all that remains is to finish our head. So what I'm going to do is take super glue on my brush here, glue 2 inches or so of the thread, hold all this back out of the way, and then wrap that on to create a bleb for the head. Okay. To finish this fillet off, we'll varnish the head. So I'm just using a clear, this is Sally Hansen Hard as Nails. I just have the brush cut down and I just run that around. And that is our brown pot-bellied pig. So being on a bottle tube, need a bit of junction attached in there. I also want to line it after this, but that's our brown pot-bellied pig tied. So like what you see, like and subscribe, more the merrier, tell your friends, and until next time, tight lines, and thanks for watching.